What up, y'all? Sports Mix. Big Kenny checking in. NFL Sunday. Give y'all my Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills wrap up. I haven't done this before, but for those that follow us on the Facebook page in the Facebook group, the Sports Mix 2021, had a little chat going on throughout the game. Having some fun with that. So let's jump into it. Ravens jump right out. Got some turnovers in the first half, first quarter, as a matter of fact. Got an interception. Scored a touchdown right off of that. I believe they came back the next, got another fumble. Dobbins scored a TD, scored the second touchdown. And, two touchdowns, two field goals, 20 to, I believe it's 20-0 at one point, or 20-3. Right before the half ended, Buffalo had a possession, went 3-and-out. Ravens got the ball back with, I believe, just over 2 minutes left in the half, and they were unable to score at that point or even run the clock out. I believe they had a 3-and-out. So, to me, that's where the momentum started to shift. Buffalo had some success on defense. Ravens weren't able to get something going. So it's 20-3. Buffalo go down and score. So they go in at the half 20-10. I think to me, I think that's where the momentum shifted. Ravens got the ball coming back out at the start of the second half. To me, I thought they should have attempted to try to really get that run game established coming out of that locker room. I know you want to put points up, and I know you don't want to stifle your offense. But, I felt like they needed to mix the run and the pass game up a little bit more, especially with Buffalo. Buffalo is a very potent offense, and they play very well on defense. So I figured, if you try to keep that defense on the floor on the field a little longer, try to wear them down a little bit, and you try to just put points on the board. Work the field possession. Get maybe kick a couple field goals or whatever the case may be, but they were not able to mount any kind of really offensive momentum in the second half, really until the end of the game. And, Buffalo chipped away and tied the game up, in the fourth quarter. So you're going, it's 20-20. Start of the fourth quarter. It's basically a new game. It's basically a 0-0 in that fourth quarter. And, they were both defenses were kind of knowing what they needed to do up until that point. Ravens are driving. You under 2 minutes. They get to the goal line. Some questionable calls in between. I know the roughing the passer on against the Ravens with Buffalo that kind of extended the drive was questionable. They called it, so it is what it is. the pass interference they called on, excuse me, on the tight end, saying he pushed off. Could have went either way. I mean, a lot of times that's a no call, but they called it. That negated a big drive, a big play anyway. He got because he would have been goal, or he maybe even scored on that play. Had the pass interference offensively not have been called. Tough, man. It's just a tough way to lose. They get again the Ravens get down 4th and goal, and on the goal line situation period, they weren't able to get the ball in. 4th and goal, 20-20, and conventional wisdom in a game where you haven't scored really since the first quarter. Take the field goal, and again, Buffalo had the momentum in the second half. So if you take the field goal, you go up 23-20, with Buffalo having a chance to come back and either tie it or win it. That didn't happen. Buffalo picked off the play in the end zone, got the ball to 20, and they drove 80 yards down pretty much to the goal line. It looked like the Ravens were trying to let them score to get the ball back. But that didn't happen. Because I believe Buffalo kind of fell on it short of the goal line, to allow the clock to continue running because the Ravens had ran out of timeout. So that strategy backfired, and of course I think it was like a minute, maybe a minute something left. Buffalo just nailed on it. They took the snap and nailed it, and let the clock continue to run down to what was like 3 or 4 seconds, and then they kicked the game-winning field goal. So the tough loss for sure. Tough loss for sure, man, for the Ravens. Now 2-2. 2-2 against the AFC East, so the AFC East is off our schedule now. Big game coming up next Sunday night against Cincinnati. First division game of the year. So, I usually reserve judgment on the team until after about the 4th week. And we are there at that point now. So the way I see this team, man, I see the Ravens, man, have some, they have to improve the running game. They got to improve the running game in order to be a serious playoff contender, Super Bowl type contender. They got to get a better running game. I believe they got some big playability. I'm not going to make excuses today because of the weather. The ball was wet for both teams. So, there were some plays left on the field, of course. In the passing game, you want to see more from your receivers, And again, it's just the 4th game. They have shown some promise. They've shown some ability to do some big things. So offensively, I believe, they get the running game in check and, just make some more plays with your receivers. And I think the offense will be fine. They definitely can put points on the board. They have showed that they've been able to do that. 20 points today against Buffalo, who was one of the top rated defenses in the league. You got to take that. So on the defensive side, the pass rush has got to improve. I think they played better on the back end today. They didn't give up the big plays like they did against Miami. Miami scored them for the big play. They didn't give up big plays like that. And Buffalo had some competent receivers that are big play guys. So, the big play was limited. They got to get better with the pass rush. To me, the tackling is still not championship level tackling. It's just a lot of whiffing and reaching and trying to make a play on the ball rather than just getting guys down, and they tend to give up more yards when they're trying to make a play on the ball rather than bringing guys down. That's just kind of what my eyes see. I believe, the linebacker play has to get better, get a little more push up front, put a little more pressure on the quarterbacks. That will, help the back end, of course. So, it all works together once things get going. So it's on, like I said, it's the fourth game. I'm not in panic mode. The last area will be coaching. I see there's a lot of disappointment with John Harbaugh and some of his decision making. People calling for his job. People saying, he should not be the coach moving forward. At the end of the season, should he be on the hot seat? That kind of stuff. You gotta let it play out. You know what I'm saying? And from an organizational standpoint, I think the Ravens and Steve Bisciotti in particular is a guy that likes stability. And, John Harbaugh wins more than he loses. You know what I'm saying? So just from an ownership standpoint, they look at it like, we are a perennial playoff team. We win more than we lose. So we're not going to jump the gun when stuff don't go the way we think it should and make emotional decisions as far as firing coaches and getting rid of this or that. And it's just my opinion. That's just from me on the outside looking at it, how I just what I think the thought process is with respect to, Steve Bisciotti making decisions on firing John Harbaugh. Because I've been hearing people say, really, he should have been fired years ago. So, I don't really get too caught up in firing coaches and all that stuff, because a lot of times, man, I look at I don't really know what the philosophy is of the team. It could be a team philosophy that, if we close, we're going for it on fourth down and we're going to live and die with the result. I don't know that, so sometimes what make common sense to us on the outside have nothing to do with what's really going on the inside and in the castle, with the decision making. So nobody likes to lose. Losing it sucks, man. It's tough when it's your team, but at the same time, it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of stuff. Sometimes we're not really privy to, what's going on. I mean, what we do know is a game to be played next week. You know what I'm saying? It's a game next week, a big game. It's a divisional game, and Ravens just got to bounce back. They got to bounce back. So let's see what happens next Sunday. It's going to be a long week. A lot of discussion going back and forth. Losing football games is definitely tough during the week because you got a whole week until you get a chance to play again. So, they got to digest this one. It's, again, the second time they were had a nice lead and were able to and gave it away to lose a game. So, and that makes it the losing even tougher. When you seemingly come out with a lead and they, like I say, they up 20-3 at one point, 17 points, then a 10-point lead at the half, only to lose the game by 3 and not score any more points since this first half. So that's the Ravens wrap up for this week versus Buffalo. We'll see y'all next week. And don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe to the Sports Mix YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button. Show your love, man. Y'all have a good week.